we're back. We've got Walt's chassis. Went to New York to Powder Tech. It was sandblasted, repowder coated. Come out really good. Did a good job on it. And they did it pretty quick. So we got it back sooner than we thought we were going to get it back, which is a plus. So this is a good thing. It's Walt cleaning parts. This time of year we do a lot of parts cleaning.
My favorite part.
Yeah, it's like doing dishes with parts.
Doing dishes with solvent.
Yeah. So anyway, car's back. New snow tires. If you're watching in the south, these are studded snow tires. These are for little Heather's car. Look at them bad boys. I've had nights at the racetrack we could have used some studs to get some bite. But anyway, shop's got a lot of parts all around. Looks kind of messy, but it's actually pretty organized in the sense that each crate goes to different parts of the car for each car. My car over there, and rear end's out of it. Did that last night. Cleaned and inspected. Actually, the rear end's been out, but I cleaned and inspected it. Go through and clean all the brackets, inspect everything, take it apart, look at the ring and pinion inside, the gears, this stuff here. Make sure everything's nothing sharp, no sharp edges or anything like that. It's starting to wear. That's what we look for. And ordered some new seals for it, new front seal, bell seals, some inner seals for that, and so that'll be good. Walt's rear end's over there waiting to be cleaned. That's a brand new rear end. It's only got a few races on it, so not a ton of work to do there. One of the things we wanted to talk about though was a lot of people go to the races, and if you're just a casual race fan, they see the 602 crate cars that we run, or a Sportsman car they call it, and then they see the big blocks, and then they see 358s, and you may see other versions of different things depending on where you are here in the Northeast, or you know, Pennsylvania, and even down south now some. So we thought we'd take a minute and kind of explain the differences. To start with, this car here is a 2021 Bicknell.
20.
This is a 20. I'm sorry. This is a 20, and basically there's no difference with the chassis. The chassis that we use are, you can be a big block, you could be a 358, or it could be a crate car. Now there are different options in the floor. That's the floor of the car. That's where Walt's feet ride. Where it can be, they call it, Bicknell offers a version 1, version 2, version 3, standard floor. It's kind of a preference, and depending on what you race, you can make that choice. There are other little things that we can make choices on when we have the cars built. Raised rails in the front, drop rail in the back. It's all about travel for shocks and springs and bite and all this stuff. And Bicknell's done a great job with you know, the innovation and stuff that's come in with the cars now. Now this car here has what they call a rack in it. Okay, this is for a torsion bar car. Now the cars used to always run torsion bars, so there was a bar that went in here with an arm that went to the rear end, and basically it was worked off twist. Had that for years and years and years, and now they switched to a coilover car, so we don't use this at all. So now we don't use that. A lot of cars don't, and it's becoming kind of a preference thing. We like the coilover setup versus the bars, and you can see on my car they're covered. We put covers on them, and so a little bit different. And we'll look at my car in a minute because mine's got parts and pieces on it. But fuel cell goes in here, right in there, that nice space, and it gets locked in with basically these big steel clamps. Fuel cell's there, it needs to be cleaned and inspected. Sometimes we open these up, they have dates on them, the fuel cells, so we like to keep them. ATL is a good fuel cell company. Keep those up to date, so you get good pieces there. Mine's already been cleaned, so you can see the difference. nice and clean, whatnot. We inspect everything and then go from there. But moving forward inside the cars, a lot of people don't get that close, or you can't because of the body, but there's not a lot of room in here, really. This area here, I can try to shoot inside here through the windshield. It's where the seat goes, dash goes. Your feet are right here. Pedals, steering box goes in here. And then your engine's sitting right here. So, yeah, Walt put a tape on it.
25 inches.
25 inches. So it's 25 inches wide in there.
Where the driver sits is a little bit wider. It's like almost 30.
Yep. One of the things they do is for a guy that's your height,
6'4". Yeah.
Yeah, they build the chassis. You can get what they call tall cage driver back. So that means the cage is a little taller. There's a little more room in the back. And now, even my car, I use a tall cage driver back. That's a tall cage driver back car. That one's a 19. So we like the extra headroom, and 2, we like the idea of the extra foot room for a guy like Walt, who's tall.
I think it's pretty normal nowadays. I think it might almost be abnormal to have a standard cage driver forward car. Like when we had Troyers a couple years ago, they were 2 inches back. They only slid the driver 2 inches back and I think an inch up.
Yeah.
So I was tighter in my Troyer. When you get in this, it's like sitting in a Cadillac.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, once you get that and you get the steering box and stuff, it's tight. It's really
tight. It's tight. So
but you're comfortable. That's the main thing. You're comfortable in there. So
a lot of people don't ever get the fans don't ever get to see how this is the actual frame of the car. This is what we ride in. You get to see all the body work on the outside. And one of the beautiful things about a Northeast Modified is that, and there you can see how narrow it is that I really feel like one of the safety things about it is that there's so much body work wrapped around us. It acts as a good cushion for when we get hit. And
lunch is ready.
Lunch, we just been told that lunch is ready.
Huh? Oh, hi. I have pepper in my mouth.
Hi.
That's nice. So the body work around these actually acts as a nice cushion when you get hit. And safety-wise, it becomes important because not only do the rub rails and things that go on the side help to, absorb the impact that we get sometimes, but the body work, sometimes it looks pretty dramatic where the body's all tore up, but at the end of the day, your driver's not tore up, and lots of times it's nowhere near as bad as it looks. Sometimes it is. We've bent frames, ruined frames, and it depends how you're hit and stuff like that. But lots of times the body work can be fixed because it all snaps on, and we can fix it pretty quickly and have it back up and running. So kind of the
nothing
nice
the
thing.
hammer won't fix with the body.
Yeah, we've had panels off at the
track.
Yeah,
well,
many.
You saw at the Valley at one point this past year. We had got the right side of your car off because it got all tore off in 2 bags.
Yep, Fonda and yeah, and every team has done it.
Beat
So
them off, flatten them out.
yeah.
Send it.
So again, looking at the cars, we can go over to mine, and you see again how much room it looks like. There's you sitting here in the cockpit, and then when you actually come over, and mine's got the side pieces. There's a piece here that goes on that like a mud shield, and now when you actually see inside, and the seat's still got debris in it from the last race, you can see how it gets pretty tight. Pedals down there, the gas, transmission's between our feet. It's a shifter, so we can put the car into direct. These are direct drive. So this one lets me get moving, kind of pushes it, centrifugal clutch gets you moving, and then this here locks it into direct. So and again, looking through the side, you can see my feet would be in here. Gas throttle, transmission, safety cover, drive shaft is right here. Runs right through there. Burt transmission. So pretty tight once everything's all put in. But pretty comfy actually. Seats, you know, the Kirky seat, you know, that fits right to you. And it's adjustable, so the headrest and everything. And so you're strapped in there pretty tight. And brake adjuster over here, so I can adjust amount of brake from the front to the rear. We have two systems, one up front, one in the back, things like that. So pretty simple. So the chassis are the same. The bodywork for the most part is the same between us and a big block. There are some differences with deck heights and spoiler rules and things like that, but for the most part a lot of it is pretty identical. You can take one of these cars and switch it over with just some more durable parts. Obviously the big block cars, the 358s, are making a lot more horsepower than we do. Our crate motors are 350, 360 horse from GM. It's a sealed crate motor that we use. And the 358s, they're probably in the 600 horsepower range. You know, I don't know. I've never raced a 358 dirt mod. And then the big blocks are 800 plus horsepower. So then you start getting into pieces and parts that need to be more durable. We can run a little bit lighter weight stuff, rear ends, stuff like that, to try and make up some of that power that we don't have. The big blocks, not so much. They need durability. Lots of times you'll see those guys and they just stop moving and you're like, I don't see anything wrong. And it's like, because they just broke an axle, they broke a through shaft or something that goes through the rear end, broke an axle or something like that, because those things are, you know, just violent. They have so much power, but they're a ton of fun to watch. Price wise, really the parts and pieces again are the same. The engines is what is different. Our engines come from GM. I think they're $5,600, something like that. We're actually waiting on a couple new motors right now. There was a, so we can talk about that anyway. There was a problem with some of the GM crate motors that GM has fixed, and they're going back into production. So we'll go from there. So yeah, the crate motor stuff, about $5,600 for a crate motor, and then pulleys and whatnot, all the add-ons, so you can, you know, ring it up. Exhaust and things are different. That's where the big changes comes in. The big block stuff, anywhere from, I hear,
add another zero.
Yeah.
56,000.
Yeah, anywhere from 30 to 60 grand for a big block. We hear. Don't quote me exactly, but I think that's pretty close, depending on the parts and pieces that you have in the car. They can use a more elaborate exhaust system, stainless steel, pieces like that, bigger carburetors, ignitions, dry sump system, which is, you know, the oil is actually separate, and they basically, a dry sump system pumps just enough oil to lubricate the crankshaft. Again, it makes power. So when you see them running that stuff, it's pretty radical.
Yeah, I mean, a dry sump system was what, we priced it out one day. I think for all the nice stuff, the nice tank, the arts lines, the lines have to run off the side here, hooked to like the rub rails, and it's all these solid aluminum lines. I think it was around $4 grand. So, I mean, you put that on top, it's not a pretty big jump. It's a huge jump for somebody to say, hey, I'm going to go big block racing from a crate car. But on the other hand, at the racetrack, you get paid better, but you also spent that money up front. So it's a divvy up, but no matter what, watching the big blocks is fun. I can only imagine driving one is fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, trying to drive something with that much power has got to be a blast on the dirt. I know with a crate car it is. So, you know, with that much horsepower. So we enjoy being at the racetrack with them. Someday hope to get to that level. But really appreciate the guys that are at that level. We know what kind of work goes into these and maintenance. So I can only imagine what goes into theirs in the maintenance. But we just thought that we would explain a little bit about what the difference in the cars are. And for the people who don't know, who look at them and go, do you have to have a completely different car? No, you don't have to have a completely different car. It's basically the same car with some just modifications to bodies, like our short track Super Series stuff.
Yeah, your taller doors, more of an outlaw style body, we call it. You know, you can run taller doors. Their body measurements are a little different. We're a dirt car. For us, we can't run a spoiler. I think mine's hanging over there.
Yeah.
You can't run that. You can't run a bunch of other stuff. So it kind of stinks because looking at the body rules, the way they keep changing them, it makes one, you almost have to have a different door and quarter set up for one to the other. Or you have to make modifications to make them both work. But that is what it is. Usually the big block guys, they have completely different bodies anyways. You don't see anybody usually show up with a dirt car legal. Pretty much we call it a Hoosier car.
Right.
You know, because the short track Super Series is American racers. Just different body measurements, stuff like that. But under the hood, I mean, with the short track Super Series, they can run a big block or an open small block, so it opens it up even more. You know, you can run an open small block with a different weight break, and there's all kinds of options on that series where compared to like the super dirt car series, it's big block only. So it's 467 cubic inch or whatever they can fit under the hood kind of thing. Yeah.
And the aerodynamics of it makes a difference.
Yeah.
You even with the crate cars, with the big block cars, this past year, Dirt took our spoilers away. They wanted to kind of unhook the crate cars. They took some spoiler away, or at least I know an inch of deck lid I think they took away from the big block cars, and we hear that there might be some more modifications coming. So those are all things that we have to look out for. The fans, and those are things an inch here, 2 inches there that they don't even notice, you know, but we noticed if we're building panels for them. And we're always trying things to go faster. Certainly, you know, the aero stuff, way back even when I was pavement racing, a lot of guys didn't really believe in it, but we figured out early on it made a difference. You know, stick your hand out the window and see what happens at 55. Now you can imagine one of these things with the big side panels. It does make a difference, and so, you know, you should pay attention to it. So sometimes if you're walking through the pit or something like that and you see a quarter panel or something that looks out of place, it might actually not be out of place. It might be somebody actually put it there. So it's kind of a little game that guys play, and, you know, the tech guys chase everybody around, but we've always enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun playing with aerodynamics. It's free horsepower, and it's actually pretty interesting to mess around with stuff and see what it does. And I can only imagine, again, with the big blocks, the dirt late models, if you're a dirt race fan, you watch the super late models, you know, Brandon Shepard and you know, Tim McCready, those guys. If you get close to those cars, there is not a panel on them that's straight, and that's not because they just threw the body on. That's because it's by design, you know.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff, you look at it, it's on an angle for a reason. Even a cup car, it's on an angle for a reason, you know. So
yeah.
But everybody has their own theories of that stuff too, you know.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for us, you don't have enough money to play with the wind tunnel, so you don't know if it actually works or not. Some of the stuff.
Right, our only wind tunnel is
you go out and
on the
try it.
track.
Oh, I didn't like that. Take that back off. You know.
Right.
And sometimes it might be so minute of a change that you don't even know.
Right.
But that's the part of the trial and error thing. So. But yeah, so it's really not a big change from a big block to a small block to a crate car, chassis-wise, component-wise. It's all under the hood, the power plant, stuff like that.
Yeah.
The other thing is the shocks and springs. You know, once you get to a small block, big block option, you can run a nicer shock and spring package. There's no shock like clamor rule. So for us, we have, I think it's $250, and it has to be a steel body, smooth bodied shocks. So you see we have to put an adapter. These aren't right here. Like we run Fox shocks. You can see it's a smooth body, and then this is a piece we have to add on. So this was from Fonda. So with a big block, this is all built in, and this is all aluminum. Nicer setup all the way. That's what Dad used to run on like the Pro Stock stuff when he ran on the Pavement. It was way nicer to use and easier to adjust, but with that comes a lot of cost. So it's not a bad rule, you know. We keep the shock thing pretty low. I mean, for $1,000 you can outfit your car with 4 shocks, so it's not too bad. I know with the Pro Stocks at the end it was $1,500 for 1 shock. So yeah. When you get $4,000 worth of shocks just in the front, that's a lot of money. So it keeps it affordable for us.
Yeah, definitely the cost of the cars is a big thing. That's why we, you know, right now you can race these crate cars, you know, all over the East Coast here, in the Northeast, and you know they're stretching into further and further to other places, and it's a great bang for your buck. The equipment lasts quite a while if you take care of it, and the maintenance cost is lower compared to obviously the bigger horse-powered cars. So that's why when a lot of the races that we go to, Fonda, you know, Sellingsgrove, the Short Track Super Series stuff, even the weekly stuff at different places, it's nothing to see, you know, 40, 50, 60 cars trying to qualify. There's that many cars out there, and, you know, lots of places you show up, you know, I would say probably 90% of those have a shot to win. So it's super competitive, and trying to find an edge is tough. There's some guys that say that these are actually a little bit tougher to drive than a bigger car because they just don't have the horsepower that it takes to get out of trouble. You get up in the heavy and it just bogs you down. With a bigger horsepowered car, you can kind of dig your way out of trouble. If you make a mistake, get into too deep into the corner, you can dig your way out of it. With this, there's no digging with these things. You got it right on the floor and begging for more, and it just ain't there. But it also keeps it, you know, pretty competitive that way. So
yeah, I think, you know, they all have their own circumstances, so they're not easy to drive by any means.
no race car is easy to drive.
Not easy to drive. Stuart Friesen makes it look really easy. You know, a lot of those guys that run them full time make it look really easy.
Yeah.
But they all come with their own certain set of circumstances. Even going from the Pavement modified to this, completely opposite.
Yeah.
You know, everything's different. Doesn't matter if you hopped in one of these and then went to a street stock. It's a different set of circumstances. They drive different. Pretty much all that knowledge that you have from driving this car is not the same when you move to something else. Even just a motor change. So
Yeah.
they're all not easy to drive. That's for sure.
Right. So anyway, hopefully that hopefully that helps you guys out, if you were wondering. And as far as what's going on with us, again, we're prepping, and the plan is to be at Alltech Speedway in Florida in early February. I forget the exact date, but that's the plan, to be there and race with Short Track Super Series, the crate portion. I think it's 4 nights in a row.
Yep.
Down there, and then we'll go from there. There's some race in South Carolina and work your way back north, basically. So that's what we're prepping for. The cars are headed the right direction. The bodies, this is the first year that we're not actually building bodies in-house. We decided in the time frame that we have that it was more cost effective and better for us to actually purchase body panels. So we're waiting on those. Those are ordered. Yep. 2 new bodies for the cars, and we're working on as soon as the motor stuff is cleaned up and we know that we're going to get a good piece, which I'm sure GM has got that figured out. They had some issues with oiling and stuff like that the new motors will show up, and we should be headed to Florida. So keep the questions coming. Please send us questions. We love to answer the questions and educate people about what we know. We'll try and give you the best answer we can. We're not always right, or it might be the way we do it. But if you have questions about the cars or anything like that, send it. If you have questions about any of us, our racing stuff, all of that, send it. It's fun for us to answer that and help people out. And we learn from other people too. So don't be afraid to send us the questions. And hopefully everybody's healthy. Right now we got a little bit of a COVID thing going on here in New Hampshire. Still a little more than it should be. And we've got, what is it today? Cold and rainy. Yeah,
it's like 40 and raining.
40 and raining. And we've had as low as, 8 degrees?
Yeah.
We've been as low as 8 degrees. So, yeah, come February, we'll be looking forward to some southern sunshine. Definitely, don't you think?
Yes, sir.
So, again, keep the questions coming. Thanks for everybody who supports us, all the fans, everybody. And hope you're all doing well. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, do all that good stuff. I don't think we have any t-shirts left.
No, I think we sold out. There'll be some new t-shirt design stuff, clothing stuff, merchandise for this year coming out. That's something that we've been talking about. So all that stuff will be we'll get that all going here shortly, and we'll let you know. So thanks for supporting us, and again, stay healthy.